Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Midas Mode Dev Blog. I believe it's episode number 3 these days. Episode number 3. This might be the most important one, as many people have said in the past. Can't do anything until you get the bag. Welcome to securing sponsorships for your tournament. Again, this Midas Mode blog series is just a blog of my dev time working on this project and the steps that I take to see if you guys can do your own projects in the future and make your own third-party events. So I hope you find it interesting, hope you find it fun, and this is the hardest one. How do I get my tournament funded? Why is this hard? I think this is, is it 4? Thank you, Mr. Man Bear Fig. Maybe it's 4. Anyway. Shut up. Funding is very hard in the world of esports, especially now in this day and age. And to be quite frank with you, it's because most people have fucked it up before you. Much like for millennials and Gen Zers, boomers that have existed in this space have already salted the earth. They had it real easy, and now lots of people have not made their money back. Lots of people have been embarrassed because bad actors have done bad jobs. It is your duty to figure out how to make good actors do good jobs. We're not trying to make the Overwatch League here and just scam as many people as humanly possible and then never have any returns. We're trying to make something that someone actually wants to sponsor with real deliverables. Now, sponsors come in many different forms. You have endemic sponsors. These are people that have already dealt with esports before, potentially even Dota or whatever game that you're thinking about making one in. Endemic sponsors have seen it all. They've done it already. They already have numbers saying this was successful, this was not successful, and maybe they're interested because it did really well. They want to iterate on those, well, I did good. How do we make it better? Or they got burned in the past and they're like, let's not do that again. But I'm still interested. I have sponsored an esports event before. How do I make it better? Same is the opposite of that, is for non-endemic sponsors. These are sponsors that are never touched esports, but they're interested in the amount of, things that are in that scene. So what does esports have going for it? Let's start off with that. With traditional sponsorship on brand recognition in TV, we call that passive viewership. People watch a commercial and they say, oh, maybe I'll buy that. Maybe they don't even watch it, etc., etc. The strength of esports, our scene, is that we can turn very passive engagement into very active engagement. For example, you already have somebody at their computer. They're ready to sit there. They're ready to click on a button if they see something cool right there. Boop! Some of the most successful things in the world when it comes to sales are those items at the grocery store right before you check out. You just see some things, and it's an impulse buy. You say, oh, okay, that looks neat. Boop. Microtransactions, thank you, Valve Software, for creating those. Take advantage of the same kind of thing. It's look at this tiny thing I can do. Oh, that's kind of cool. I'll buy that right now. Boop. This is fantastic. We have a massive amount of people that watch esports, and we hit globally too, which is huge. If you have some kind of product, thank you for no microtransactions. Yes, Valve Software created those.
Microtransactions.
That's right. Started with Team Fortress 2 in the Manconomy update. Your boy was there on the front lines. Best hat trader in the world. Thank you very much. But at any rate, yes, we have a massive amount of audience that goes throughout the entire globe, and they're very passionate about that one thing. And that's another huge thing that esports has going for it. When sponsors enter an esports space, it's much different than any kind of traditional other sponsorship where it's like, oh, here's an ad. Here's the ad. Go take it, We are passionate about our games. We're passionate about our players. We're passionate about our scenes. So traditionally, when sponsors come into the space, they say, wow, can't believe these guys sponsored this. That's cool. That's good. I like that. Like, people like to see people supporting their passion, supporting their game, whereas throwing a commercial up on a TV show, no one gives a shit. They're waiting for that commercial to end. But there, especially in esports, is a lot of positivity. Gucci sponsors a League of Legends event and designs their trophy. People are like, wow, that's cool. Thank you for doing that. Which is cool, because it does activate people to say, hey, you know what? You're helping out something that I love, so here's me helping you back out. Yeah, I'll buy this. Whatever. Sounds good. So we have a big audience We have a lot of viewers, and we have a very easy way to get them to do things because the button's right there. Impulse buy. I want that. That actually looks cool. We also have a great target demographic, you know? We have a bunch of people from all over the world at a certain age range, especially in the world of Dota 2, where we're all a little bit older. We're not 12-year-olds playing Fortnite or, 10-year-olds playing Rocket League. No offense to those scenes. But our community in Dota is more grown up. A lot of us are working adults that, from the anywhere from 22 to 40 age range with disposable income, which is fantastic. That's why Valve loves Dota 2 so much, and Counter-Strike. It's an older audience where these people have a lot of disposable income just because they're working and they're willing to spend money on things that they're passionate about. And it's very interesting. Video games psychologically are something that people like to spend money on because it makes them feel good. Did you guys know in the Great Depression, every single thing in America died except for the entertainment industry? People still went to go see movies in the Great Depression because they want to spend money on stuff that makes them feel good. They want to associate with feeling good even in the hardest times. So, yeah, it's a great thing to sponsor. Easy activations, massive audience, very invested fans that are going to be thankful for people to sponsor. But how do we do it right? And how do you do it wrong? Well, wrong is what most people did in the early days of esports, where a sponsor would come in. They say, hey, we want people to know about our, car. Okay. They put an ad for the car. What does this do? No one knows. Nobody cares. So, I don't know. I mean, that's just bad sponsorship. You put an ad out there and you say, this exists. Neat. That's great. So what you want to do in esports, especially when you're trying to talk to sponsors, is find out what their deliverables are. You want to approach a sponsor and say, what do you guys want most? Is that just attention for your product? Do you just want products to be out there, people know about them, and they say, wow, that's neat. And you're happy enough with that? You just want to get the word out. Do you want actual actionables? Do you want people to say, oh, okay, I want to go to this website. I want to click on this. I want to engage in this. Do you want people to actually buy the product? These are all things that you have to determine with somebody interested in sponsoring your event, and then curate your event around those deliverables, because that's actually effective advertising. That's a partnership. And that's really what you should be looking for. You should be looking for a partnership with your sponsor. It's not a sponsorship, it's a partnership. Because a good tournament that is going to generate value for the people investing in it needs to find out what they want and then dynamically change it to make that happen. Now, big brands, huge brands, a lot of those guys just want brand recognition. In fact, they just want to own that space. They want it to look good. Coca-Cola wants to be here because Coca-Cola is fucking cool. 10 out of 10, that's great. Smaller guys with less budgets, but still a lot of heart and a lot of passion, will want more from you. The smaller the corporation or the smaller the entity, the more they want, because their money means a lot more to them. They can't just drop $100K and be like, oh, okay, yeah, well, our marketing budget is $4 million this year, so whatever, $100K is nothing. Startups, passionate people, they want to drop as little as possible, get the most out of it. And that is, unfortunately, your job is to find that nice middle ground where you're going to get as many deliverables as you can from your sponsors, but you're also going to keep the heart and soul of your product still there and still breathing and still popular. Because that is the hardest thing about esports, the most important thing is authenticity. Gamers want a product that is authentic. They do not care about watching a fucking product that has nothing to do with them, about something that they don't care about, because we were raised on internet forums. We can sniff out bullshit easily, quickly, and rip you to shreds. As Gabe Newell himself said, never lie on the internet. They'll always find out, they'll always punish you and they will always track you down. So authenticity is the number one thing that we have to follow when we're making a tournament and when we're working with sponsors. So you can find the best sponsor in the world that has the biggest budget. And yeah, we want to sponsor your tournament, but it's something that your entire audience is going to hate. Your product suffers. You're advertising something nobody likes and nobody wants, and now you're dragging against that while you're trying to do a passionate project. So it's really, really, really hard to make that happen in a way that matters. But at the same time, why would someone be advertising if they didn't need your help? If it's a perfect product that everybody wants, you don't need advertising. You guys know that that hot sauce brand, Sriracha? They don't advertise. Why? Because that shit's Perfect. You don't have to do anything. It's just sriracha. You try once, you go, well, this is the best thing I've ever had, and you're done. Other guys need to advertise, be it because they're small, they need to get their name out there, be it because their product might have some negative stigmas to it. Doesn't really matter. If they're coming to you, they need help, and they need you to make their message work. And that is fine, because any message can work. It's just about how you make it work and where you want to sit on with your tournament, keeping the heart and soul of your tourney while satisfying things for others. Now, the internet is also a fickle place because it's full of man-children, and that's okay. I'm just going to say that now, and I think if you don't believe that, I'm sorry. You go to any YouTube comment section, scroll down, and you'll see there's some insane people out there. People that have never worked a job in their life. People that have never been in the real world. That's fine. They're gamers. They're part of our family. Okay? These are our weird uncles. They are welcome to us. They're just psychopaths. These guys hate sponsors. I mean, that's just, they don't get it. Why am I watching an ad? Why don't you just give me this event for free? Why can't it just exist in this sphere of what I want? I don't like this. It's tough. It is tough. So you can't appease those people. You can try. If you're really good, you can motivate them to be on your side, but it's tough. And especially, I'm not flaming or anything, but streamers are a huge example, right? Why should this streamer have a delay? It's not fair. He's making a better product than anybody else. Well, that product wouldn't exist without it. There would be no product for him to stream without the sponsors. The sponsors, the people that are funding this tournament, make this tournament happen. There would be no content. So yes, it's like if somebody, goes to the Super Bowl and they bring a camcorder and they record it for free and then they upload it and someone's like, why? Don't punish this man for taking this. His product is better than yours because I didn't have to pay for it. Well, it wouldn't have existed. It's a nonsensical argument, but whatever. So let's get into the business here of what you should do for your tournament when you're thinking about sponsors, what I personally do to try to attract sponsors, and what we're going to do for Midas Mode 3 to get that out. Now, step one is finding out what is attractive in your tournament for a sponsor, and then figuring that out in a dynamic way to make them impressed with it. You have to have levels. As we said, every single sponsor that you'll be approaching will have different wants, needs, and deliverables. And if you're good and smart, you will build with your sponsor rather than try to shoehorn your sponsor in. Here's some examples of stuff. So, for an example, Dota 2 is fantastic with its ability to have in-game representation on stuff. So, for Midas Mode 3, we're working on a custom map, which will allow us to have a lot of different dynamic ways to at least show the sponsor on the map itself. In fact, we're going to be breaking this down into several houses, which will be able to showcase the sponsor for their just flat-out notoriety as well and get them out there. So when it comes to showcasing stuff on the map, especially in Dota, in the game, where viewers can't quote-unquote escape the advertisement, this is something that we can do in a custom game, which makes something like Midas Mode so good, is because brand recognition can be easily slapped in and make it, very exciting. So you can think about, how do I showcase the sponsor just in general? What can they own? What's a section of my tournament that they can own? Because that's another thing too. If you want to run an esports tournament, you're going to need more than one sponsor. Title sponsorships are the highest level of sponsorships. These are the guys that say, hey guys, this is Betway Midas Mode 2. No, this is like anytime you say presented by Mercedes in association with X, you say the tournament's name, they are there. That is your title sponsor. Secondary sponsors are going to be needed as well. ESL, we have the Vodafone breakdown of the game. We have the DHL drop. They own certain parts of that because that's their space that they paid for, and that's their moment with that massive amount of viewers that we have and that interested audience. So you want to create something that allows your sponsors to have their value. That is what's most important. We have to put our business hats on and find out how we can separate our tournament to provide value in their own, what you would call owned moments, their own sections where they get to have their time to get their deliverables that they're after made. So, using Midas Mode 3, this is a fantastic example of building a tournament basically around sponsors for viewers. Again, that is the goal of Midas Mode 3. I want to give viewers as many things as possible that are traditionally given to the pro players and reward them for watching it and being part of it, shaping the tournament. So how do we do that? How do we separate that into a way where sponsors get their own moments, their own little sections that they get to own, and then bring it out into the world? Well, the answer is to split it up into several different tiers. So for Midas mode, we're going to be having 3 different ways to sponsor the event. First off is a title sponsor. This is the guy that owns the entire tournament. Every single video, boom, logos on there. Their deliverables, the tournament is based around that, etc., etc. And for Midas mode, with our big goal of trying to give fans back for viewing for the first time in Dota history, we're probably going to have to find a title sponsor that has that ability. You know, a Cash App or something like that, where viewers can go in, make an account, and if their team wins, they get whatever it is. If it's merch, product, if it's money, whatever that title sponsorship is, the entire tournament will be based around that system to let people that want to go in and do that. Now, again, I do not want to worry you guys. I am 100%, I'm a Valve boy. That's how I was born and raised. Everybody would have the exact same powers in the entire tournament. Everyone is an equal player. There is no buffing by, doing anything. But you have to make a system where your sponsor deliverables get met. So if a sponsor wants fans to go to their website and sign up for something or retweet a tweet or something like that, and then they're entered in for a better prize, there you go. Much like cosmetics in Dota, that is the current plan. So it doesn't make your power as a viewer or player any different. You just get more if you do what the sponsor wants. So easy. Anyway, that is the goal for the title sponsor. Now, a title sponsorship means that you are in a straight-up partnership with your title sponsor. You will do all of their deliverables. This tournament exists for them, basically, because they are bankrolling it. They are paying double, possibly triple what other sponsors would be paying. They own this sucker. So you build hand in hand with that. And that is why it's so important to find a title sponsor that you're willing to work with. There's a lot of companies out there that have a lot of money, and they're going to want you to do things that you do not want to do. If you partner with one of those guys and you break down the authenticity of your own tournament, you're creating a product that you're not going to be happy with, the fans aren't going to enjoy, the sponsor won't enjoy afterwards, and you're going to have a massive amount of issues. So your number one goal is to find truly a partner for your title sponsorship. You're looking for an idea that will take this title sponsor, give them good deliverables, and have them fund your tournament in a way where everybody is happy. They get what they want with whatever deliverables they want. You use your authenticity in the esports world, knowing what fans just like you want to see, and you combine it in a way where it makes everything equal and happy in a way that the fans will not be turned off by it. That's your responsibility. It's tough. It's hard. That's why I haven't made a blog in 3 weeks. It's hard to make these pitches. So yeah, our example for Midas Mode 3, what we're planning to do is to build the tournament ground up with that title sponsor and make sure that those deliverables are part of the experience. If I'm on Team Pyrian Flax, I want Pyrian Flax to win. I signed up to be on Team Pyrian Flax in week 1. I have all the same powers as everybody else. I go in there, I vote, I do everything I want to do. But if I go to this website, probably a Robinhood, a Cash App, or something like that, I put in $1 to the website, that dollar goes to the prize pool. But if I win, if Pyrian wins, I get money now. I get product now. That is going to be the title sponsorship. We're going to find a partner that has the capability of allowing people to do this, has the internal structure to deliver prizes, whatever those prizes might be, to the fans, and then build hype around that. So we shall see. It's gonna be nuts. So that's title sponsorship, but you can't stop there. There has to be more ways for you to sponsor tournaments, because as LD told me many years ago, back at Summit 4, I said, how much does an esports tournament cost? And he said, it's pretty easy. The prize pool is about 1/3 of the cost of it. I'll put that in perspective. Dota 2 has the biggest prize pools in the world. And it is tough because we have to have all of this shit going into making this thing happen. You have to rent out stadiums. You have to sell tickets. You have to get merch. You have to do all this insane crap. Not for us, because this is an online event, because I'm not ESL, but it's a lot of money. Internally, production costs are massive. If your prize pool is like 200K, you're probably spending anywhere from, 500 to 750K on the entire process of employees building it, the stadium, the planning, the ticket sales. It's nuts. And Dota 2 is massive in that as well. The giant prize pools in Dota 2 is a reason why it is so hard to sponsor Dota events, because a standard CSGO event, you put $1 million down, that's everything. Now it's like, okay, $1 million is the prize pool. What the fuck? How do I sponsor this? So yeah, Dota 2's massive sponsorship prize money is really tough, because people look at other esports and they say, well, I could just sponsor a CSGO event. The guys that win get 50K. I can give you $500,000 and we'll have just as big as Dota, because the prize pools are not as big. But it's also what makes us unique. We're the best video game in the world with the best pro players. So it's tough. At any rate, you have to find other ways to sponsor your event besides your title sponsorship. And you have to find ways that are going to give your title sponsor the gravitas they deserve by owning this event, while still allowing other actors to get in. As I said, everyone needs to have their own moment that they own, their own section of that tournament where it's like, okay, this is my shot to do my deliverable, why I'm sponsoring the tournament. So, for Midas Mode 3, for example, we have creatively split this up into those 12 banner lords. So we're going to have each one of these banner lords own a team that you will be part of, and then hopefully we will sell every single one of those 12 teams to a dynamic sponsor. So let's say that somebody sponsors the tournament, I don't know, someone will never, all right, Tesla sponsors Midas Mode 3. They've decided not to be the title sponsor, great. And now they are part of House Purge. So House Purge and Tesla are in a partnership, and then we think of creative, what do they want? Tesla wants retweets. Okay, great. So when Purge plays, if we get X amount of retweets from his dedicated community, then he will get a superpower that will help him win his game. And if his fans don't do that, then whatever. Yeah, that's going to be tough to do, but it's optional. It's fun. It's a way for people to potentially get motivated to do stuff. And then maybe if they're invested, they get themselves a free car at the end of the event. If Purge wins, everyone that's in his house gets a car. I don't know. But we want to separate the 12 houses into individual sponsorships that are at a much lower rate than a title sponsorship in order to get the tournament to be more interesting, have different stuff going on, but also give them their moments. Besides that, there's a lot of brands that are massive, as I said, but they just want to be associated with a product. And you don't even know that they're sponsoring. I mean, I'm sure you guys don't know that, SteelSeries sponsors TI, but we sit in the international... We sit in the chairs. They made the chairs. Secret Labs, excuse me. I'm sure you didn't know Secret Labs made the chairs. SteelSeries made the headsets. It's not about an active sponsorship where you're going to see commercials. It's about people using the product association. I saw Arteezy sitting in that chair, and he almost won TI that one time. So, yeah, there's that level as well. Obviously, this is less money going to be coming in from your sponsors, more product brand awareness. Energy drink guys are huge on this. You ever see esports event, everyone's drinking an energy drink. Typically, they're drinking the energy drink that sponsors their team. This is not a mistake. Sometimes these energy drinks are full of water. But still, product brand placement. Thank you for subscribing, Coffee Joy. These are not direct. Usually, these are systems where it's like, we need 1,000 chairs. You don't have to give us any money. Could you give us the chairs? That kind of stuff. So yeah, partnerships in this way typically don't get you a lot of money in order to pay for people, prize pool, and fans, but they do get you things that you need. So we're going to have this in Midas Mode as well, where it's kind of relatively cheap to go in and sponsor it, and then you'll have brand recognition. That's about it. So you want to have different tiers so that you can attract different people. A startup with a 10K budget, and that's all they have. They want to be part of stuff that's big and huge, but that's literally all they have. You can't get more. But finding something in there where they can have some sort of association is great. You have $1 million title sponsor that really wants to be in there and have everything, and they have 50 deliverables that they want throughout the tournament. Gotta have space for that too. Your job is to be as flexible as possible when people have things that they want from you. If they want things, you need to make it happen in an authentic way that is going to gel with your community. So, step one, design your tournament in a way where this is possible. Have all of that in mind. That's the easy part. Welcome to the hard part. Step two, actually getting this in front of people's faces. This is unbelievably hard. As any esports guy will tell you, in any team, organization, tournament organizer, the most valuable person they have is the sales guy. The guy that will go out there and cold call people. Now, if you don't know what cold calling is, this is literally, it's impossible. I want to talk to Coca-Cola. How do I do that? That's it. You fucking email some guy. I don't know. That's cold calling. You say, hello? Do you want to hear about Midas Mode 3? To randos. It's miserable. You will spend weeks and weeks and weeks emailing like corporate entities on an email that you don't even know works and not get a response. Maybe you'll get one response and you'll be so excited and send them this massive document and they don't respond. People never even say, I'm not interested. And you've been on the side of that though. You get spam emails all the time. I know you do. And you're like, what is this? No one's going to go into that spam email and be like, no, thank you. But it's so crushing. Oh my God. Especially when you know that the product is going to be so good. It's going to fit in. This is your dream sponsor. These are the guys. Oh my God, I know that this will be so good. And no one ever talks to you. The desperation gets crazy. You will start following PR people on Twitter and liking their tweets and saying, wonderful. Just so that maybe they'll recognize your name and answer your email. It's rough. It's rough. It is the hardest thing in the world. And especially in esports, because a lot of the sales stuff comes from connections. And I don't go to after parties. I don't know anybody. I'm a gamer. That's the thing. My job is to be authentic to gamers. I am a gamer. So I don't know. It's so hard. You have to put away all of your passion, all of your drive. It is literally thousands and thousands of disappointments to get 2 hits. But those 2 hits are all you need, baby. You just need someone that shares your vision. You just need a partner. So it's really, really tough. The one time that you find a good partner and then you're making their dreams happen at the same time as your dreams happening is, we got that plenty of times. And that's why Midas Mode in the past has gotten such unique sponsors. NASA, Malwarebytes, Vape Juice. These really great non-endemic things is because I'm grinding my ass off for 3 months cold calling people, having discussions with them. And the worst ones are when you get a response and you've been talking to this guy like once or twice every week for a month, and then it just falls through. And it's just like, well, okay, no, I'm not going to rename the tournament to be, whatever your company's name is. That's the title sponsor. You don't get that. So it's really, 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 really rough. But yeah, let's get into that. How did NASA sponsor such an event? The key to it is using your demographics well. So that was a cold call. I mean, that was a guy, we just contacted. It was like, listen, we have a bunch of nerdy people with disposable income in an age demographic that will be interested in space and will raise their kids to be interested in space. These are nerds. I have a giant collection of nerds worldwide with disposable income. What do you want? We want people to go to Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. I will make that happen. That's it. So, yeah, it's like you have to use our demographic well. Now, that is what we have going for us, though. Our demographic is fantastic. People with disposable income that are nerds. There's so many of us. It is a really, really good product, but you have to find sponsors that are going to gel with that. People that are on their computers all the time, that are very plugged into internet culture, that know how to use Amazon. They know how to sign up for websites. They're not boomers. How do we get those people actionized? That's where you have to do it. And that's how you have to frame your cold calls. You have to find sponsors that you think would gel. you as a person have to think about, what would I buy? What would I be interested in? Maybe that guy would want to sponsor. Maybe we could help. God damn. Back in the day, guys, Summit 8, I think, they had oh, thank you, Slunky. They had DoorDash as a sponsor. Oh my God, what a perfect sponsor. You're sitting on your ass on your computer all day gaming, you get hungry, open up your phone, boom, food is delivered to you. Perfect gaming sponsor. That is what I'm talking about. Easy deliverables, things that the gamers will actually want. And when it comes to integration into the product, you just have the guys picking their favorite thing on DoorDash on the thing. Mwah, nobody gets mad. You even give them a coupon code for going on DoorDash.com. If they watch the tournament, they get a coupon code for 10% off. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Perfect. That is what you're looking for. Easy integrations. How the F did they get in contact with DoorDash? That is the pain of sponsorship. How did they get their hands on that? How did they contact that person? Might have been cold calling. You know, it might have been, I know a guy who knows a guy. It's a mystery. That is why it's the hardest job in the world. Connections. So, yeah, what you want to do is make this in a way where you are going to be able to send this to 1,000 people, 1,000 companies, but still design it in a way where it's interesting to them. So how do we do that? Well, that, my friends, is called a deck. Welcome to my document. This is my internal info for Midas Mode 3. I went out into a document and wrote out every single thing that I thought could be valuable to any sort of sponsor. We're talking about projected views, how I can get your product in there, what is Dota, what makes it good. Ain't nobody gonna read this shit. So you have to write out every single thing that you want and then make it into a bite-sized, digestible package. Someone's going to look at their email. They're going to see your cringe email. They're going to open it up. They're going to see there's a PDF. They're going to click on that PDF. You've got them for 5 seconds before they're on the next email. Can you make this good enough where they actually want to read it? It is much like writing a good book. The title card and the title and the name mean everything. Gotta get them to flip it open. So, ain't nobody gonna open up this 14-page document and go, oh, wonderful, and start reading it. You need a deck. You need a nice deck. So, you have to condense all your information, cut out all of your heart and joy, and make it into about 5 to 7 pages, which are mostly pictures. Much like a child. Yeah, we must keep their attention. Big graph. Big picture, big this, because they're busy. That's their job, is to find out, how am I going to get value? You have to shove that value in their face. Got to get them a beautiful deck. And once your foot's in the door and they say, hey, this actually looks interesting, let's have a call, then it's time for your big presentation. But the deck is extremely hard. It is so hard. You have to have all your information there. You have to have everything eye-catching. It's super, super tough. So I'll give you guys an example. This is what we're working on right now for Midas Mode 3. We got all of our information. We have all of our stuff. Now we need to slap it into a deck and make that shit look nice, real eye-catching. We'll make it look professional, baby, because these people are about to give us potentially funds to make our dreams come true. So let me show you the deck for Midas Mode 2. Sir Sadim's Revenge. This is the deck that I made last time. This is the actual deck that went out to sponsors. Nicely designed, got some nice stuff. Now, I will warn you guys, this is 5 years old. So this is when I was an amateur. But still, beautiful design. What is Midas Mode page 1? Where it's going to happen, page 2. It's all about the fan. Like, why does this exist? 3. Features where they can have their own moments. Why this would have value for them. The rest of the event. How many viewers we're going to get. Most important, what does your money buy you? Where does this viewership go? How many people can I reach? How successful will this product be? And then sponsorship packages for this event. Title sponsor, platinum sponsor, gold sponsor. Break it down into your different segments to showcase. Yes, you're going to give us a third of what the title sponsor is, but you're also going to get a third of the features. However, we will make those features good. And then showcase that people actually like it. More numbers, more numbers. Thank you. This is how it has to be. Basically a picture book. You have to very quickly, I would say this deck sucks. Straight up. I made this deck 5 years ago. I guarantee you nobody read page 4. Look at this. It is just a wall of text. No one's going to read that shit. Boom. So yes, I've learned a lot since this was made. And it's really tough. It is really, really hard. It is basically making a commercial no one will ever see, potentially. So it takes a lot of work. You gotta condense your life's dream into 7 pages and get a graphic designer that makes it look nice, get it eye-popping, and then get that foot in the door so that you can actually do the pitch later. So, I don't know. It's tough. But at the same time, it's essential because that's what you're doing. You're cold calling. You're sending it to random people. You have got to flash them. You have got to make them excited in the mere seconds that you have. So that's my life right now. My life right now is finishing up this deck this week, hopefully having it done by Thursday, and then spamming it to every single entity I can think of. Now, if you want to be smart, you have multiple decks as well. For example, if someone's never worked in Dota before, you need to explain what Dota is. You need to explain why it's valuable. You need to explain how big it is. If someone is like in Dota for 10 years, you need to cut your deck in half because they already know about Dota. You need to understand why this tournament is important and special and different from the rest. Completely different tone. So it's so much work. You have to make creative, unique products that convince the specific sponsor that you're looking for, and then you need to send it to 1,000 people and maybe get 3 responses. It's a pain in the ass, but that's how it happens. So there we are. That is, basically where we are going. Which brings us to you guys. Now, we are going to be getting this deck out there, getting in front of people, and seeing who would be interested. If you guys know anyone that would be interested, let me know. I'm not saying I personally work on this board and I want to give you money. That'd be great. Thank you. But if you guys have any bright ideas for things that you think would gel in that target audience, that'd be a huge help. Send me any information on a product or brand that you think, oh, nerdy middle-aged people with disposable income always on their computer would like this product. Let me know if you have any ideas because I will be sending it to everyone. Now, who do you send it to in your company? How do you send it to people? This is the great mystery. I don't know. There's plenty of ways you can do it. You could go on LinkedIn, try to find their, advertising guy and send it to his email to be lost within the billions of things he gets. You could try to spam people on Twitter. You could do whatever the F you want. You have to figure that out. That's where a marketing person is a marketing person. I am not a marketing person. So I think it's tough. I don't know. It's tough, but you got to figure it out. In the past, we have gotten connections through teams. Teams have people or tournament organizers. For Midas Mode 2, Betway was the title sponsor for that. They had a connection with a team who the manager got me in contact with the guy he was working at. I pitched the thing with a deck. He said, this looks really cool. Boom, bada boom. And then they did it. It was great. It was a good partnership. In fact, we added more to that partnership by having some sponsored videos part of that deck to get more views and stuff like that. So it worked. A friend of a friend. But that's how it happens. The best thing you can do, though, is know that sponsorship hunting is going to be brutal. It's going to be tough. And the hardest decision is when somebody has money to make your tournament happen and they don't gel, and you know it in your heart they don't gel, and you have to say no. That is the hardest thing that you have to do. But when you find good sponsors, when you take that time, when you spend literally 3 months doing nothing but cold calling and meeting with people and building the correct package for them, that's when the tournament is successful. That's when the fans don't rally up and say, I hate this. And that's when you get those guys again. That is the other thing. That's what so many people in esports do wrong. They get a sponsor, they don't have good deliverables, they burn that sponsor, and then it's work, work, work. I am fully going to contact NASA, Malware Bytes, all of my past sponsor guys because I treated them right. And then you have a network of guys that are like, okay, this guy did well by us, we will do it again. Or they say, hey, not this time because my marketing budget is spent, but I know these guys and I know you're a good dude and we'll put you out there. So it's hard. But if you do your job correctly, if you do it right and you make good connections and your sponsors are happy by the end of the event, your life gets easier. So it has been 5 years, but we'll see if those old connections will come back, or at least they know other people, and we'll see if we can't get this thing funded. Here's the sad part, though. Funding is the hardest part of your event. If your event does not get funded, you do not have an event, okay? You might say, okay, I'll just raise funds by the community. That's a very slippery slope, my friend. You do not want to do an Indiegogo. You do not want to do a Kickstarter. Because if the community funds it, they own it. And if they own it, they have full right to tell you what to do. They have full right when your shit doesn't work. That's on you, and you have burned yourself. So, I don't know, man. It's really rough. Like, if you kickstart your event for $1 million, those fans own that tournament, and if you have technical issues, that is going to piss them off so much more than a tournament that they get for free. Because I paid for it. That's why people get so mad at TI. I paid for TI. I bought the Battle Pass. Why is this stream off? So it's tough. Yeah. I don't know, man. So you can do that. You can do that if it comes down to either desperation or that's part of your unique tournament that you're building, is it is like a Kickstarter thing. We've done it before. Don't get me wrong. Midas Mode 2 had a very large Kickstarter component. But that Kickstarter component was not you own the tournament. It was, hey, if you raise enough money, we will make Shrek Ogre. You know? It's like letting people have an outlet where they want to support, but then it's supporting in a healthy way that's fun. Don't base your entire tournament around community support and growing it up and then delivering on what they want because they own you, and that's tough. Everybody's different. Even if we're all Dota 2 players, you can't just do what everybody wants. It's super, super hard. And it's impossible. They're all different people. So yeah, that is basically, I guess, where we're at on Midas Mode 2. Or, excuse me, 3. When it comes to other stuff, besides sponsorship, we have a lot of people. I wouldn't say a lot of people, but we have about 5 to 9 people working on the background of this, each with specific things that they do. Map makers, 2 of the best map makers in Dota. For the custom map, we have one guy that's helping us out on sales. We have another guy, and again, I don't have people work without paying them, which is why I'm not opening it up to many people. The first thing that I have to do is secure the bag, pay the people that have already been working on it with me in some way. Then we can start hiring more people. Then we can start building up this base and getting all that shit together. So nothing happens until you get funding, which is rough because funding takes a really, really long time to secure. But once you get that funding, it's time to go. It's sprint time. You got to make assets. You got to make everything. You got to test it. You got to go and make sure that this shit works. So funding first, everything else later, or else you have people working for free for 6 months. It doesn't get funded, and then then you've made many enemies. So unfortunately, if you're a tournament organizer, if you're thinking about running your own event, this is on you. This is your job. You have to work your ass off as much as humanly possible to acquire this funding for free, on your own time, 100% dedication. And if you have dedicated friends that want to help you for free, whatever, sure. I wouldn't recommend against on that because if you waste their time, that really sucks for your friendship and your connections. So it's on you. After you get the funding, after you get the bag, then you can start to actually hire people and then feel good about your life. But you're the one who's doing it for free, baby. This is your shit. So get to work. Okay. Whew. Yeah, so that is your update on Midas Mode. We have currently secured most of our banner lords, I think. I'm not going to spoil that here. We are working on our map stuff. We're working on the fun stuff of each individual map having individual effects. I haven't started going out for mercenaries yet. which is across the span of gaming, because I need to make a deck for that too. I need to make a very easy thing where when some giga famous streamer opens it up, their PR person, their agent opens it up, there's a 5-page thing that says, what is Midas mode? This will take 2 hours of your time. We'll pay you X. And then boom, maybe we'll get a big person. So gotta get the sales deck done. Then we'll get the mercenary deck done. Then we'll get the additional Bannerlord deck done, because I'm sure some Bannerlords are not going to want to do it, even though they say they're going to want to do it. There's always people that fall out. And we get to work on the fun stuff. The fun stuff on Midas Mode 3 is to think of the wacky and crazy mercenary abilities, Bannerlord abilities, map effects, and then we get to work on the story of Midas Mode 3, you know, the campaign, the Game of Thrones overarching stuff. Then we get to make graphics. Then we get to make videos. Then we get to make sponsor obligations. So much work coming. None of it happens, though, before you get your sponsor. So you have to make sure that this is real. If you F this up and you start making all this before you get a sponsor, you're going to be in a lot of pain. So here we go. Anyway, yeah, that is basically it. I pray to ever-living Lord that we get this deck done by the end of the week. We start cold calling sponsors. We start drumming up excitement for the event. And then we find partners that we want to work with. It is paramount that we find our title sponsorship first. So, homework for you guys while I'm doing my homework, if you care. Again, any comments on the YouTube videos for these blogs, I read every single one of them. I know you guys have been sending me emails at siractionslacks.com with your suggestions. I've been reading them. I'm really trying to get this deck done. As soon as this deck done, I will respond to all of you. I love you. But if you have any ideas for a title sponsor that has the capability of giving things back to the community if they sign on to a specific house in Midas Mode 3, for the general, all of the houses, they have the ability to give back, whether it be merchandise, whether it be straight up cash, whether it be coupon codes, I don't know. Send your ideas over. If you know anyone in the gaming space that you personally like their product, as a Dota 2 gamer, you think that their product is awesome, you think other people would like their product, send it over, guys. I'm down, because the next endless amounts of my life are going to be cold calling randos. And trying to convince them that this is a good idea, which I truly believe it is. So, yeah, we got to get to work on that. Anyway, thank you very much. Give me ideas if you want to. And let me know. Let's get this thing sold. I call action to you, folks, because if this thing does not get a sponsor or 12, it don't happen. So that is, you know, it's happened before on other tournament ideas I've had. We did not acquire our funding for very specific tournaments, and it will happen again. That is the world of esports. That is the world of making content. So let's see if we can get someone to do it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Next blog, I believe we'll start talking about the fun stuff, which is going to be map effects, superpowers of our Bannerlords. Potentially, we'll start leaking who the Bannerlords are. I will warn you if there's giant spoilers before in these blog posts, so don't worry. But that will do it for today. Welcome to the Q&A section, guys. Any questions? Anything else? What's going on? You got 5 minutes of Q&A, chat. Anything you want. I'm happy to answer any questions about funding your own tournament. What do you guys want to know? You've got 5 minutes, and if someone don't start typing soon, I'm out of here. My email is siractionslacks@gmail.com. There you go. Great Q&A session, guys. Thank you so much for the Dancing Dinosaurs. How big should your deck be? Much like in real life, the bigger is not always the better, especially because it's painful for people to have to read your big deck, okay? You want your deck normal sized, even small. You know, it's not about the length of your deck. It's about how attractive you use it in your limited space. You know, someone out there with a giant deck, they don't need to work at it. They have all that stuff, and guess what? It's intimidating. People don't want to see that giant deck. But you have a normal size deck, even a smaller size deck, people will say, okay, that won't hurt to look at. That won't hurt. And then, yeah, you'll get a lot more work out of it, but it's up to you to make your size matter as much as humanly possible on your deck. Okay? Anything else? Are you selective about game dev sponsorships? It's such a weird game that doesn't have the most overlap with other communities. I think Dota 2 is a very passionate game where it does not have a casual vibe to it, but I do believe that that overlaps with a lot of different experiences. And I think Dota players love games like Dark Souls. They love games like Darkest Dungeon. Dota attracts a very high-skilled player base that is very passionate, and that's definitely something you can work with. Just because Dota players don't play Fortnite doesn't mean they're bad gamers. In fact, I think they're better than normal gamers. Did Gabe shut you down and say no like a father when discouraging his son? I don't know what you're talking about. What? What does that mean? Thank you. Is there a limit to mercs? No, I don't think so. Short and sweet, we need a lot of people per day. The current plan is to have 15 available mercenaries per series, but a lot of our series are probably going to be BO1s or BO2s. So, and the less each mercenary has to play, the better mercenaries we're going to get. If I want to get, like, fucking Shroud to come on, I'm not going to get him if I say, hey, I need your day. But if I tell Shroud, I need you for one game, which lasts anywhere from 35 to 45 minutes, and I'll pay you your talent fee, we might get them. So separating out mercenaries based on time commitment is the number one way that we're going to get people, and that's why Midas Mode 3 makes a lot of sense, because talent is a pain in the ass. We talked about that, I think, last week. So separating this out into just a Google Calendar where someone could say, yeah, I have an hour on Wednesday 4 months from now, whatever. Pay me my unbelievably high rate. Then we get that guy. That's, I'm not too worried about that. I think that'll be good. Okay. What else we got? Do you keep in touch with your old Midas Mode sponsors after the tournament? Yeah. In fact, for Betway, we had some weird situation where the Chinese did not want to follow their contract in any way. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes stories about that. We had contracts with some Chinese broadcasting partners, and they were trying to hide our ads by putting things over them, like a little picture of like a girl's face or something, because they didn't want our ad. But that was part of the broadcasting thing, is like, you have to show our sponsors if we give you a broadcasting. So we literally had Buka create a code which moved the sponsor logo around the screen, and then they made a counter code to counter code that code so that they could fight it and manually try to fight it. It was ridiculous, but Chinese contracts are insane. They're just like suggestions. They're like, oh, okay. So I was super worried about this. I was like, oh my God, you guys gave us a bunch of money. You said you wanted your logo on there. The Chinese broadcasting people broke our signed agreement. I'm so sorry. And they're like, it happens all the time. Let's stay in contact and let's I don't know. You can make it up to us somehow. So figure it out how to make it up to us. So I did. And I said, I always had this idea for a video. If you notice, Why I Hate Wind Ranger has the Betway logo in the top right, because I felt bad. I was like, I want to make you guys the value that you lost out on that. I want to make a video that I'm passionate about. I'll give it to you for free sponsorship. I'm just going to put this out there, and hopefully it gets enough views where you feel like it's worth it. They watched the video. They said, this is great. Got a lot of views. They said, hey, thanks a lot for doing that. You didn't have to do that. We appreciate it. So that worked out great. You want to treat your sponsors with respect and make sure they get their deliverables as much as possible. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes what they want doesn't happen on a show. This is not magic. I'm not a wish granter. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but it's your responsibility to keep those relationships and keep them happy and figure out what would make you happy, So yeah, it's part of business. And as long as you're playing fair and honest with people, they will respect you and they will help you get stuff in the future. I saw Saberlight playing Elden Ring. Okay, thank you. SirActionSlacks at gmail.com. Thank you very much. Smoking on the copium. That's not a question. Thank you. Have I heard of Gigantic? Yeah, didn't they do Boba, right? Oh. How do you get first contact with sponsors? That's the mystery. That's the key. I don't know. Cold call. Find their email and cold call them. Look for a certain person, like the marketing person at any kind of company, and send them an email. Ask if anyone knows. Do you know anyone that knows someone that knows someone that maybe have spoken to this guy in the past? It's fucking impossible. but sometimes it works. Sometimes you get lucky. Steam Deck. Stream Deck. Elgato. Elgato liked one of my tweets one time, and I sent them a DM on the official and said, hey, I'm throwing Midas Mode 2. Would you guys like to be a part of it in any way? Guy fucking responds. He's like, sure, I'll send you over some shit. I don't know, man. It's tough. It's rough. I didn't write a deck for something like Midas Mode where the event itself depends on what sponsors you actually get. What should you realistically plan for? Thank you, Joe. That's a great question. You need to write a deck specifically for the sponsor that you're trying to get. You have to take a guess. What does the sponsor probably want? And then you have to say, okay, I'm going to make a deck that appeals to that. I'm going to think, if I was this sponsor, what would I want the most? And then say, okay, I'm going to creatively think about that, and I'm going to make a deck out of that. In the perfect world with unlimited time, I would send every single sponsor that I went to a customized deck that went through all of what I believe their deliverables would be before they even tell me what they are. Unfortunately, we don't have free time. So save that for your title sponsors. If you really think you're going to gel well with a company, use that company, create a deck specifically for them in a way where it's feasible and possible. You can follow through on those and have it be successful. So for Midas Mode, I built this tournament from the ground up to have deliverables for sponsors that make sense and can motivate fans while at the same time entertaining fans. That's my current gig. That's my current dream. So we'll see if that works out. Are these mercs needed Dota experience? No! That's the fun part of the mercenary system. Again, we are going to buff these people because they're only playing one game. So let's say that somebody has never played Dota in their entire life, and you hire them for free. They're one person on your team, and their special power is that they are invincible. They cannot be harmed. They cannot die. That is it. They have never played on a PC before, but they cannot die. Will be funny. Will people pick that? I don't know. That's what's funny about it. We're trying to make memes out here. Will we have VTubers? I hope so. VTubers are great. I love them. Is there a place where gaming is still a controversial thing? Yeah, traditionally in non-endemic sponsors that are stupid. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. There's a lot of non-endemic sponsors that have never been in esports or gaming, and they're just like, gaming is for, 8-year-olds. There are more over 20 gamers than younger gamers at this point. I mean, gaming's been around for that long, where it is becoming not just mainstream. It's just like everybody has a game that they like, So people that are stuck in their old ways of traditional radio advertising, TV advertising, nobody's going to be watching TV in 10 years, bro. So, yeah, I don't know. But unfortunately, these are guys that have already made a ton off that. They have made their empires off that because that was the hypest form of advertising back in their heyday. So some companies are very strong on that, and they still believe in that system, and they would never sponsor an esports thing. It's all crazy. But Dota's fantastic because our demographic is so big. Our prize pools are big. It's very easy to convince someone, wow, my TV commercial gets 10,000 viewers. We paid $4 million for this. One Dota tournament gets 1.7 million viewers. That's crazy. So it takes some convincing, but non-endemics can be brought in, and usually with really good results. Okay. Elgato. I've been chasing Elgato for my entire life. All right, anything else? That's it. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this blog. We will get another blog out as soon as I can. Hopefully, we'll get a title sponsor locked in the next week and a half to 2 weeks by spamming this thing around, and then we will start to work on solidifying other people. Oh, yeah, big update. Big update from last week. I asked you guys, what should we do about big streamers? I want big streamers in the tournament. I want them to be part of Midas Mode, but will I be able to drag a giant streamer to a physical LAN location for 8 days? I don't know. I don't know if I have the budget to do that. So I have officially, I believe, decided to make what I call the Fighters Guild. This is a band of mercenaries that don't have to leave wherever they're at. They stay at home, and they're just there for the games. Guy is streaming. He shows up for his game. He plays one game. He has a good time. He's back to work. You know, I want to make sure that people have the ability to watch their favorite streamers play in Midas Mode 3 and be part of it, but be kind to the streamers and be like, listen, I know how much money you're going to lose by piecing out of your stream for 8 days. So, yeah, it's not the perfect world. I wish I had an unlimited budget where I can get the biggest names to come to a physical location. And the only bad thing about that is they don't get a house. So it's like, you have a streamer you really love. You want to be part of House Forsen. You want to support Forsen. You want to, if he wins, you win. It's great. But he's not going to show up because he costs way too much money. So you'll have to just watch him play in the games, which is hopefully hype. I mean, if they come to the physical location, they will be casting the games rather than playing in the games, and you won't hear any of the team comms. So anyway, that's the decision I came down to. It's mostly just because I want to be as inclusive as possible. I want to have anybody that loves Dota and is passionate about Dota involved in this tournament in some way. Also, I ain't got $8 million to pay these people, so it's tough, but that's it. Yeah. Are there any streamers who would do that voluntarily because of community involvement? No spoilers, but we got one. We got one that makes a ton of money streaming, is very fun, and is a very beloved one, and didn't even ask about anything. No fucking how much does this cost? In fact, the only comment was, this sounds nerdy as hell. I'm in. So, very cool. Very cool to that guy, which I'll find out. But yeah, anyway, we'll see. I'm going to try to get as many people as possible. Yeah. If you guys know anyone like, that you think could be a house sponsor too, let me know. Not just title sponsors. We're looking out for anybody. So yeah, it was Rihanna, actually. Anyway, we'll keep you guys updated on the system. Hopefully it works out. Hopefully we get everybody in the Dota community involved in Midas Mode 3, and we'll make it happen. But still going to get this deck done, and then I'll start reaching out to mercenaries. You guys have sent in a lot of suggestions for like, hey, this guy was once seen playing Dota, or this guy once said something nice about Dota. Keep those suggestions coming, either in the YouTube comments or at siraxeslacks@gmail.com, and I will show you guys the master list of everyone that I've ever contacted. And we'll get the biggest net in the world, because we're going to need like 200 guest stars on this show. It's going to be nuts. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate your help, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.